Hello everyone, back with another video. So yeah, the time before I spoke about it on the last video, I didn't do a video for a while because I wasn't feeling great. Not the case this time, it has been 7 days, but it's more just because I haven't sort of really had any content to record. So yeah, I haven't done a haul or purchased anything, any physical media for a while. This is my, well, as you can see on the title, recent watches part 14. So it's been 7 days since I did part 13, and I think I've watched 10 films in that time. Mixture of DVDs and Blu-rays. Some of these I don't think you can get on Blu-ray or 4K. I think they're stuck on DVD. I'll speak about them as I get to them. Yeah, I'll say now so I don't forget later. Should upload the next video on Saturday or Sunday. As yeah, on Saturday. I'll link him in the description with Ollie Loves Films on a movie haul. I think we go to like HMV, CEX, and the charity shops usually. So yeah, that'll be my next content. So yeah, kind of run out of money, so I've not bought any films for like 2 weeks or so. But yeah, on with the films I've watched. So first one I watched, I guess it was 7 days ago. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Rick Moranis. Yeah, I don't know if this has ever had a Blu-ray or a 4K upgrade. Bit of a travesty if it hasn't, but I guess it's probably on Disney Plus. Obviously, it is a Disney DVD. Yeah, not really ever seen this one around. This is one I've picked up in a charity shop in my local town a while ago when I was with Ollie. Yeah, I mean, the disc is a bit scratched, a bit dirty, but it did play. It took a while to read it in my PS5, so I was a bit worried. I thought if it doesn't, I can go on to Disney Plus. I think I have said before, I don't really watch anything on Disney Plus myself, but obviously because you can have it in multiple households, my young niece who's like 5 and my sister and that, sort of I pay for it because they don't have too much money and then share it with them. So I was thinking of stopping it because it's like, I don't know, £11 a month, which I don't really use, but I felt a bit mean because if I do stop it, then they won't be able to watch it anymore. And I think, yeah, she watches her like Disney films and stuff on it. But yeah, it did play. Case is a bit, it looks like it's been bitten by the dog on the front, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I think let me see the year this was actually released. Hopefully I can find it, as I never could at finding the year. No, it doesn't seem to have a year. But yeah, I remember, pretty sure I watched this one at the cinema. I know we definitely watched the sequel, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. I'm not sure if that's got Rick Moranis. I think there's quite a lot of sequels. Second one wasn't too great. But yeah, I think we went to like a birthday party to some dingy old cinema. I think it was called the Gaiety. I don't think it's even open anymore. And it had like a higher balcony, so we were all sat up there watching it. And then I think afterwards we went to Wimpy, if anyone can remember that. It's like a cheaper version of like McDonald's and Burger King to have our dinner. But yeah, bit of a cheap birthday party. I can't remember one of my mates' birthdays, I think it was. But yeah, I think I remember watching this at the cinema. Have watched it since when I was a kid. I think we recorded it off the TV on VHS. But yeah, probably the first time I've watched this in like 5 years or so. I have watched it since I was a kid. Yeah, watched it a while ago, probably on like, I don't think I've had Disney Plus that long, so maybe it was when I had my Cody box or something. But yeah, still a fun film. Big fan of Rick Moranis. Hasn't really done too much. He's in Spaceballs, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, maybe the sequel, can't remember. And then obviously Ghostbusters. I think he did quit acting because he had to like look after his family, whether he had a wife that became ill or I can't remember exactly. But he is coming back, I think next year, Ollie said, in Spaceballs Part 2. Yeah, really enjoyed this. Some of the practical effects a bit aged. I guess it's probably like 88 or so, but 89. But it does still stand up. And yeah, it's a fun film. There's a few funny bits in it. I must say, out of all the films I've watched in like probably a couple of years, this one really flew by the fastest. So a lot of films I enjoy. You know, not saying they drag or anything. Say John Carpenter's The Thing. Every time I watch it, I love it. But it does feel like sort of 2 hours long. Whereas this, it got to a point where I thought it had been half an hour in, and then when I looked, basically the credits started rolling. I was like, how has that been 90 minutes already? So yeah, fun film that it really flew past. Yeah, kind of a family film, I'd say, rather than a kids' film. Kind of watched it thinking, is it going to be a bit sort of immature and I won't really enjoy it anymore? But no, it enjoy Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Sure, everybody knows that one. I'd probably give that like hard to say because it's a well-made film, but it's no classic as such. But yeah, I guess I'd give it like a 7.5 or an 8 or so out of 10. Ooh, not all the Blu-rays over on that shelf. Right, this next one, crazily, I'd never really heard of this before, even though it's a classic. There's certain films I hadn't seen, but you sort of heard of just from being a film fan, even if it's not things you're interested in. I'd heard of like Casablanca and is it called Red River with John Wayne and certain films that are meant to be classics that I hadn't actually seen. But yeah, I'd never heard of 12 Angry Men before. And then I think they were talking about it in the WhatsApp group, and I think Roy Barrett from Blue Roy Movies, I think he said it was really good, and I think Sammy and from Sammy G's World of Cinema and Ollie from Ollie Loves Film both picked it up, and then they were on about doing a watch along because they thought I had it, and I said, well, I don't have it, shall I buy it? And then Roy said yes, 100%. So I bought it, hearing it was a classic. It's quite expensive, wasn't in the sale or anything. I think you can get it on like a non-Criterion, but they didn't have it in stock. So yeah, I think I paid like 18 or so for that, but money well spent. Didn't really know too much about it other than Roy, Sammy, and rest of the group really. Jodie, I know, is a big fan of this from Jodie's Movie Realm. All said it was a classic. 1957, 96 minutes, black and white. Yeah, it's just not only really well made. I used to say Pulp Fiction probably had the best dialogue of any film I'd seen, and then maybe True Romance, which is also written by Quentin Tarantino. Whereas since seeing this, I mean, this is more grounded. The dialogue in Pulp Fiction, for instance, is a bit more, I guess you've got more artistic license with some of the sort of weird dialogue and stuff they say, especially some of Samuel L. Jackson's dialogue and the way he delivers it. A bit about when he's eating the burger and stuff. But the dialogue's grounded, and it's the sort of dialogue they would say. That's the thing. Pulp Fiction, some of it's, I wouldn't say unbelievable, but yeah, I've not really ever met anybody in real life saying quotes like that off their own back. Whereas this not only makes sense, but in each situation, it is like the perfect dialogue, the thing the characters would really say. I would say it, even though it's called 12 Angry Men, it's kind of really one angry man, which is he called Lee J. Cobb? Yeah, I mean, they were all good in it. Obviously, Henry Fonda's kind of the main actor, I would say. Ensemble cast, all of them are brilliant. But yeah, I think Lee J. Cobb probably plays the best role with the best acting. But yeah, he's kind of, without spoiling it, the main angry man, I would say, really. Can't believe I hadn't heard this before, heard of it, should I say. But for a film that basically is just dialogue, 12 guys sat in a room, not really any action, it's just so entertaining. Yeah, I guess it's a testament to the script and the directing skills. Directed by, I think it's pronounced Sidney Lumet. I think when I said it before, I said Sidney Lumet, assuming he was like French. But yeah, I think the others that have talked about it have called him Sidney Lumet. But yeah, just, I wouldn't say more entertainment than it should be, but yeah, it just had me engrossed, flew by, really enjoyed it. Can't believe I really took this long to see it. After I bought it, before I watched it, my friend came round and I had it on the pile on the sofa of sort of ones to watch, and he said he'd seen it, and he's not a big film fan, so I was quite surprised. And he said it's his granddad's favourite film ever, and his granddad literally forced him to watch it. He said, you need to learn about film, because he was saying he wanted to go and see the new Fast and the Furious, and his granddad said it's like pish or something, and said he wants to watch a proper film. So yeah, he showed it to him, and my mate was like, oh, it's black and white, I don't expect to enjoy it, and he loved it. But yeah, I would give that a 9 out of 10. Absolute classic. Like I said before, in terms of filmmaking, it probably merits a 10, but I don't give any film a 10 until I've seen them a few times. There's a lot of films that are good that I give a 9 out of 10. I think recently I gave To Kill a Mockingbird and one or two others I can't remember at the moment a 9. But yeah, films like The Thing, Old Boy, Jaws, that I've seen 10 times plus. To have a 10, it's got to have a bit of nostalgia, and sort of I've seen it so much that I really understand the film more. But yeah, I will be watching it again and again, so it will rise to a 10. But yeah, definitely a 9. And yeah, thank you, Roy, and whoever else sung its merits, and Jodie and that, because yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Absolutely brilliant film. This one, not so much. It wasn't badly made, Heart Eyes, but it just, it wasn't the romantic. I mean, obviously, I think Ollie and people had said it was kind of a bit of a romantic sort of slasher, and obviously it is sort of set at Halloween, Valentine's Day. But it wasn't badly made. But yeah, I found a few of the characters and the build up to when the killings started happening wasn't really my kind of thing. Heart Eyes Killer is good killer and looks good. You can kind of see him a bit better there. Hope there's not too much glare. Quite an iconic killer. I mean, when it says a new horror classic arrives, I won't go that far. I guess if you're a casual horror fan, then maybe you'd be blown away by this. But for me, who's seen a lot of horrors, yeah, I don't think it's one of the best. I mean, I thought it would be similar to Scream in terms of that was a bit of a teen horror. Obviously, it's not got the fourth wall breaking satire of horrors like Scream has. But yeah, for me, it's not close to the level of Scream. I will give it a 6 out of 10. I watched it quite late at night. Not gonna lie, I didn't fall asleep or anything. I wasn't that tired, but I just can't remember that much about it. Can't remember many of the killings, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. It is an 18, strong bloody violence, gore, and language. Can I find a running time? No. 2025? Yeah, I guess it was just released last Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think my sister and her boyfriend, the sister I mentioned who's got the niece that watches Disney Plus, went to see this at the cinema and they really enjoyed it, but she is only mid-20s, so yeah, I'm not sort of looking down on people and saying if you like this better than any other horror film, you don't know horror, but obviously if you've seen hundreds or whatever of horrors, then you know, certain classics, say A Nightmare on Elm Street, just an example, blows this out the water for me in terms of filmmaking and entertainment. I was thinking of trading this into CEX, but I don't think it's fair yet. I think I'm going to have to give it another viewing, see if it grows on me. You know, there's films when, it wasn't that I wasn't able to focus, but, you know, some you'll watch and you don't take it in, or you don't always like the, not the style of the film, or not even the way it's going, but the kind of, what's the word? Doesn't always resonate with you, and then you might watch it again 6 months later and think, yeah, it's brilliant, what did I think? Or vice versa, love it the first time, when you watch it again you spot holes. But yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this one again, but I would give it a 6 so far. It's kind of an average one. This one I know does have a Blu-ray, but I just haven't picked it up on Blu-ray yet. But Drop Dead Fred by Rick Mail, starring Phoebe Cates, obviously Rick Mail, Marsha Mason, with Tim Matheson and Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher's not in it too much, but she is good. Music by Randy Edelman. Directed by Ati DeJong. Perhaps I've heard of him. 1991. Yeah, I remember seeing this. I think it was on TV when I was a kid. And enjoyed the kind of humour and stuff of it. Maybe I've seen it, yeah, I must have seen it later than 1991, because I think I knew Rick Mail from Bottom, the TV series. Absolutely classic in my opinion, and watched it again recently. It just would not get made nowadays. It's very un-PC. I don't usually like slapstick violence, but the way Adrian Edmondson and Rick Mail pull it off really works. And obviously they were in The Young Ones, Cat Flap, quite a few things. Always been a big fan of Rick Mail, R.I.P., absolute comedy legend in my opinion. So much charisma and energy as an actor, just a funny guy. Also in the film Guest House Paradiso, which I have on Indicator, actually directed by Adrian Edmondson. Really enjoy that. How they got Vincent Cassel and Monica Bellucci, I think's in it. Some of those to be in it, I don't know. Maybe they'd watched Bottom and really liked it. But yeah, really fun. A few laugh out loud moments. Bit wild. Yeah, the bit I remember when I was a kid is because he's the imaginary friend, Drop Dead Fred, when she's a kid, but he comes back when she's an adult. This Phoebe Cates, and he's trying to annoy her mum. Oh yeah, her mum is. I didn't actually see it. Bridget Fonda plays the mum. Which, like, again, you wouldn't really expect Bridget Fonda and Carrie Fisher to be in a, I guess it's a low budget kind of British comedy from 1991, but yeah, both good in it. And he's basically trying to be naughty and do naughty things. There's one bit where she has all the floors cleaned, shampooed, and she's like, don't go on the floor, and then he gets like dog shit all over his shoes and he's jumping on the sofa, smearing it everywhere and singing a song of like lovely dog shit. And yeah, when I was a kid that used to absolutely crack me up. I guess it's a bit immature kind of comedy really, but I still found it funny nowadays. And if you a fan of Rick Mail and Bottom and Young Ones, then I think you would still get on with this. But yeah, I do need to pick this one up on Blu-ray, and then I can trade this one in or pass it on or something. Yeah, I did that. I guess a 7 out of 10. It's not the best made film, but I enjoy it and it's funny. And yeah, I mean, previously probably hadn't seen it in like 20 years plus and still remembered so many bits from it, especially the set pieces. This next one came out, yeah, probably around the same time as Heart Eyes in terms of like a modern horror, but I preferred it way more than Heart Eyes is the Monkey by Osgood Perkins. Yeah, much preferred this to what was it called? Longlegs with Nicolas Cage. What's the girl in the woman? Should I say in Longlegs? Won't try and take too long, but I thought I'd just shout her out because she is a brilliant actress and been in a lot of things recently. And I think in a year or so she's going to be like a main star. Something Thatcher, Sophie Thatcher, I think it is. Can't actually see it. No, maybe I'm thinking of Heretic, actually, sorry, with Sophie Thatcher. But yeah, Longlegs I found, not a bad film, but I found it a bit disappointing. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10, whereas this I found more fun. Some of the kills were not only gory, but some really original. You know, I've watched a lot of slashers and things and never seen some of the kills like this. Some of the humour genuinely worked. A lot of the characters were funny and likeable. Yeah, there's a few laugh out loud moments based on the short story by Stephen King. I mean, they do embellish it because the short story hasn't got that much going on in it, really. I have read the short story. I think it's out either 2 Minutes to Midnight or what's the other book by Stephen King? A collection of Skeleton Crew. It's out of one of those, but yeah, obviously it's only like I think 15 pages, so you do have to expand on it. From producer James Wan. But yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's a better made film than Longlegs, but I found it more enjoyable, more satisfying, and some people have said they didn't like this or thought Longlegs was better. Whereas, yeah, I found this way more entertaining. I thought the little monkey looked really good. It's a good soundtrack, some good music in it. I mean, it is quite gory, really. I'm surprised it's only a 15. So tell me a running time. If you look on like older DVDs and that, after it's got all the like the roll call of all the cast and crew and stuff, it would always just have the runtime at the end of that, but now they seem to either not put it on or move it around. 97 minutes, really flew past. But yeah, I would say it's a fun bit of a comedy horror, really. But yeah, kept me entertained, really enjoyed it. We'll be watching it again in a little while. Yeah, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, like I say, I don't know if I'd say it's a better technically made film than Longlegs. Longlegs has a bit more depth and things to it and more layers. But this one, yeah, I just found it more enjoyable, really entertaining. And like I say, a few people were like hit and miss on it. It seemed a bit contentious, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, really enjoyed that. One of the best sort of new horror films I've seen this year, probably other than Superhost. That one, that was a Shudder exclusive. Probably one of the best ones I've seen. If I don't forget, I will mention at the end, obviously this is physical media, but I did watch one film on Shudder, which obviously just, if it's everything I try and buy on physical media to watch, but obviously there's some things on Shudder that are exclusives that won't get a release for 2 years or I've never got a release that I will watch on there or Amazon Prime or something if I can't watch it on physical. But yeah, I'll talk about that at the end if I remember, but it's not the end of the world if I don't, because it's not physical. Then you've got Arnie in The Running Man. Yeah, I used to really love this one as a kid. I mean, it's a bit dated now, but the actual story in that is ahead of its time. How, if they could get away with it, I think America especially would, Simon Cowell would probably endorse it, would make a game show where you basically get a load of criminals, put them into like an arena, a bit like gladiators, and then there's like specialist kind of warriors, like one guy's like on ice skates called Sub-Zero with a hockey stick and exploding parks, and then you've got what's his name, Dynamo. He's like an opera kind of singer guy, sings really high and like smashes glass. I don't know if he is. He looks a bit like the big guy out of Beetlejuice. Like quite chunky guy with like short black kind of quiffed back hair. I think he's like an artist or something. I think he's friends with what are they called, Delia and Charles Dietz. Let me know if you know that or not. I should have looked at his name and compared it to Beetlejuice. But yeah, he looks similar as Dynamo. Then you've got, is he called Buzzsaw with like a chainsaw? And yeah, basically they get all these criminals, let them loose in like an arena. All the crowd are watching it. Everyone on their telly's watching it. And then they let the hunters, I think they call them, out to kill them. And if they can survive them, then they get released. So they say, I won't say what happens. It's a bit of a spoiler, but might be a bit of a lie. And then you've got like a really sleazy sort of channel executive in charge of it all. Basically, the odds are really numbered against them. Yeah, I hadn't watched this in a long time, but yeah, as a kid, I used to watch this quite often with one of my mates and used to really enjoy just a kind of element of people going on a game show to like risking their lives and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of ahead of its time in terms of the way like reality TV and stuff would go. Arnie really good in it. Obviously looks the part. He hasn't got too much dialogue and stuff, but he's like fighting the hunters and messing them up. I'll quickly read the synopsis to it. In the year 2019, an innocent man accused of a crime has a choice: hard time or prime time. He must pay or play the Running Man, the highest rated television show in history. It's a game between life and death, but tonight the game is going to be different. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Running Man. He's playing for a prize. The prize is his life. From now, the rules are going to change forever. I always thought, and it does feel like a Paul Verhoeven film, not just in terms of the filmmaking, but it's got a lot of satire of like, at the time, well, I guess it meant to be futuristic, but modern society and a lot of the glamour and glitz of TV and how, people are watch anything regardless of the morality of the TV programming and stuff. But it's actually Paul Michael Glazer. But yeah, it does feel like a Paul Verhoeven film. I'd say it's a bit more like Total Recall kind of style. Obviously, also because it had Arnie in, and he's in Total Recall. But yeah, say Total Recall, RoboCop has kind of got similar satire to when it shows like the TV advert kind of things. Like, I'll buy that for $1. And Starship Troopers kind of style like comedy in that, I thought. Let's read the cast. Actually, it's 1 hour 40 minutes, but it really flew by. It's an 18. What's the year? 1987. So yeah, it's got obviously Arnie, Maria Conchita Alonso, Yaphet Kotto. He's obviously out of Alien, but I think Roy showed something recently, a film that was a bit more of a drama that had him in, which I was quite surprised. Jim Brown, Jesse Ventura, also in Predator, used to be a wrestler, really big sort of Jack guy. Erland Van Lith, Marvin J. McIntyre, Mick Fleetwood, and Richard Dawson. Yeah, it's not the best made film. It's not cheesy, and it's not really that aged over time, considering it's coming up to 40 years old. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's one of Arnie's best. It's not up there with like True Lies and Terminator and Predator, but yeah, an enjoyable one. Yeah, I'd give that a 7 out of 10. The Running Man. Surprised they hadn't ever done a remake of that. Not saying they should, but it just feels like one they would love to remake. Obviously, Hollywood and that have got no originality or ideas of their own, to be fair. This one, Jack the Giant Killer. 94 minutes. It has got a musical version, which obviously I didn't watch because I'm not a massive fan of musicals, but maybe I'll watch it one day to see what the musical's like. I'm sure Stuart George from Stuart George's Home Movies likes the musical version. What year? 1962. Doesn't feel that dated. Starring Kerwin Matthews, who was out of, is it Seventh Voyage of Sinbad? Yeah, I'll read this bit quickly, but I'm sure everybody knows Jack the Giant Killer. Featuring the stars Kerwin Matthews and Torin Thatcher, and director Nathan Juran of the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. His vivid, swashbuckling retelling of the classic fairy tale is an adventure for the ages. Tongue twister. Farm boy Jack, played by Kerwin Matthews, heroically rescues Princess Elaine, played by Judy Meredith, from sorcerer Pendragon, played by Torin Thatcher, by slaying his bloodthirsty giant. But when Pendragon uses his evil powers to bewitch and imprison Elaine in his enchanted fortress, Jack must cross the ocean to brave dragons, two-headed ogres, and an army of ghouls to save his lady love. Released on Blu-ray for the first time in the UK, this special edition includes both the original cut and re-envisioned musical version of the film. PG, contains mild violence and scary scenes. Yeah, I thought I had seen this as a kid. Obviously, I'd watched all the Sinbad films as a kid, Clash of the Titans, Jason and the Argonauts, Tom Thumb. It kind of feels like that, but maybe I watched it and couldn't remember many parts of it. But yeah, on reviewing it, wasn't sure if I did actually see this one as a kid. I think this does have a remake with Nicholas Hoult, which I've heard is quite bad, and I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I doubt you're really going to get better than a classic like this. I think I spoke about this when I picked it up, purchased it, should I say, on a haul video. But yeah, if you look at the back of it, how is that not Ray Harryhausen's stop motion special effects? I don't know. Obviously, all the films with like Kerwin Matthews and the Sinbad films and all the ones I spoke of, Clash of the Titans, Jason and the Argonauts, the effects are done by Harryhausen. It's around the same time as Harryhausen in the 60s, so maybe Harryhausen's protege or someone did it. I mean, it's saying special photographic effects in Fantascope by Howard A. Anderson. That's all it says about the special effects, but yeah, it does feel like, looks like Harryhausen. The actual models, I mean, that looks very similar to one of the big sort of Cyclops creature out of Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, I think it is. But yeah, I did really enjoy this. Yeah, I don't think I'm. Let me know if it's worth watching the remake kind of one with Nicholas Hoult. I do like Nicholas Hoult as an actor, but yeah, not heard great things about it. But yeah, special effects still stand up considering what 60 odd years old. Good story, entertaining. Yeah, I did really enjoy this, and yeah, one I thought I'd seen as a kid. Maybe I did. You know, if I seen this when I was 5, then even if I really enjoyed it, I'm probably not going to remember too many bits of it, especially if I only watched it once. But yeah, one I'm glad to have in the collection, in the 101 films collection that I've got. Got quite a lot of 101 films now. I think I picked this up quite cheap, like £6 or £8 in CEX. But yeah, really enjoyable film. Maybe I'll get round to the musical version. Let me know if it's worth it. Stuart or Ollie or Jodie or anyone that likes musicals or might have seen the musical version. Yeah, I'd give that, I guess, a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Really well made film and really entertaining. What have we got next? Right. This one I haven't seen in 20 years, I would say. When did it originally come out? Year 2000. So that's 25 years ago. And watched it, yeah, 1 or 2 years. Yeah, I guess at the time, yeah, I must have been about 18 or so when I watched it. So, yeah, probably over 20 years ago. But Me, Myself and Irene. I remember watching it and liking it and thinking it was funny back in the day. But I think when I watched this, it was like around my girlfriend's house. And she just didn't like it and thought it was like offensive and wanted to turn it off. So I was kind of concentrating on it, but I don't think I was allowed to laugh at it really, especially the bits. Some bits are very un-PC. It wouldn't get made nowadays. Without spoiling the bit when he's trying to fight the cow. Yeah, I don't think she liked that. She was like an animal vet or something. And I was like, it's a film. It's a model of a cow. He's not really beating up a cow, but yeah, this was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, one of the funniest films I've seen in years. Really good as you'd expect by Jim Carrey. Kind of a bit like The Mask, I would say, in terms of how he's got like the split personality, whereas this is not as cartoonish as The Mask and quite subtle. So when he's a normal guy, what's it say his name is? Charlie Bailey Gates, he's a pushover, everyone walks all over him, they all treat him bad. He's just, what's the word? He just can't stand up to anybody. Everyone thinks he's a bit of a joke. There's one bit when I think his kids, when they're younger, are doing something and there's some naughty kids. No, I think it is there's some kids being naughty, and then he goes up to tell him off as a policeman, and he says, my dad says you're a joke and I don't have to do what you say even though you're a policeman. But yeah, he's like a joke of the community. Then when the split personality comes out, you think he'd overplay it, like not overplaying sounds harsh, obviously in like The Mask and Ace Ventura. I like his style in it, but be like all brash and really loud, whereas when he turns to the split personality, he's kind of got quite a deep gravelly voice and he's quite restrained. But yeah, some of the bits in it were really literally making me cry with laughter. Won't sort of spoil it, but there's a bit with the cow. He's basically, the cow's in the road and it's dying, so he tries to put out his misery and he's like punching it, and then he gets it in a headlock and he's trying to strangle it, and then he shoots it like 7 times with the gun. And it's quite funny the way it's happening, but the bit that really got me is about an hour later, near the end of the film, when they're looking for him, there's a policeman and he says, oh, we're after him because what he did to that cow. And then obviously you think the cow's dead, and when Jim Carrey's trying to kill it, it just won't die. And then the guy sort of says, oh, the poor cow, it only just survived. But yeah, it is very un-PC. There's bits that are sort of offensive to everybody kind of thing. I won't say too many of the quota boys, not only because it's sort of spoilerish, but also, yeah, some of what he says about certain demographics of people, shall we say. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble or anything, but if you like sort of raucous, raunchy comedies, then yeah, I think you would like this. From the directors of Something About Mary. Not a massive fan of Renée Zellweger, but she's good in this. She's got a few funny scenes. Prefer her to something like Bridget Jones's Diary, which I think I did watch the first one as a kid. I think she's in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, is it, with Matthew McConaughey, which is quite awful. So, yeah, not really been a fan of her, but yeah, not only does she act well in this, she has actually got some funny dialogue in it. Yeah, the bit on the train, the bit with the helicopter. Yeah, I know Sammy G's a big fan of this, and Sammy G's World of Cinema. But yeah, obviously enjoyed it years ago and thought I'd go back now and might maybe find it a bit silly. But no, really enjoyed it. It's a well-made film, but also, yeah, just hilarious. One of the funniest films I've seen since I last watched Step Brothers. Probably not for everyone. If you're offended by comedy or you're a bit of a snowflake, then this is really going to trigger you. But yeah, Marcus from X-File 2708, I know he likes his un-PC, doesn't care about offensive sort of comedy. the more offensive, the funnier, I think, in his opinion. I imagine he would like this if he hasn't seen it. Ash from Popcorn and Horror, I imagine this would be up his street. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's my favourite Jim Carrey film in terms of filmmaking or most iconic role from him. I'd say The Mask, Ace Ventura films, Dumb and Dumber, The Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Probably better made films, but I think this is his funniest film. Yeah, maybe I just watched it at a time when I was in a certain mood, but yeah, I was just crying at some of this. Yeah, I'd give that, for funniness, 10 out of 10, but for filmmaking, probably 7 out of 10. So yeah, overall, I'd probably get an 8 out of 10. I think you can get it on Blu-ray, but I've never really seen it around or on 4K. Next one, I don't know if you can get this on Blu-ray either. Waxwork. It's a horror film, a bit of a horror comedy, really. Hadn't seen this. I think I got it probably 12 years ago. Watched it once, kind of liked it, but didn't love it. Hadn't watched it in all that time. And yeah, when I rewatched this, I did quite enjoy it. Not the best made film, but it's entertaining. It's got some really good special effects. Kind of like Wax Muse. What's it called? One with Paris Hilton. House of Wax, crossed with like Night of the Demons, I would say. I'll read the little synopsis because I've only got one left to show after this. So it should finish about 35 minutes, which isn't too bad for me. Double helpings of horror as Mark and his college class decide to have a little fun and attend a private midnight showing of the new Waxworks Museum. The admission is free, but getting out may cost their lives. Join them on their roller coaster ride into terror at the Waxwork Museum. Miles O'Keefe and David Warner team up with special effects wizard Bob Keane, who did Alien and Highlander, 2 classics. In this, the Rocky Horror Picture Show meets House of Wax Spine Tingler. I can't really see where they're getting the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's got no musical. It's not sort of campy. That's what they say. Written and directed by Anthony Hickox. Have heard of him. Not sure what else he's done. Yeah, one of the standouts is David Warner. He is in The Island, and he's probably the best part. I think Roy said in his review from Blue Roy Movies, he didn't like The Island, I don't think, and found it really bizarre with Michael Caine in it. I think it was released. Is it on Treasured Films, The Island? Yeah. I liked it, but it's a very bizarre, wacky, weird film. But yeah, David Warner was probably the best part of that. And yeah, David Warner really good in this as the kind of owner of the Wax Museum. Who else does it star? Zach Galligan, Deborah Foreman, Michelle Johnson, Dana Ashbrook, Miles O'Keefe, Patrick McNee, David Warner. It's quite good music, composed and directed by Roger Bellon. Can't really say I've heard of him before. Who does the cinematography? Doesn't seem to say that on here either. 93 minutes from 1988. Yeah, it's a fun one. Even though it's a comedy, I can't say it made me laugh, but it kind of was entertaining. Some really good special effects, I say, is a standout bit of it. Got this like weird little guy on the front. It's quite funny. Yeah, most of the Waxworks are more like Universal monsters, I guess. So you've got like Dracula, Wolfman, the Mummy. I thought maybe the Waxworks would be of like, I haven't been, but I think if you go to like Madame Tussauds, Waxworks and that, it's mostly famous people. So it would be like, I don't know, Michael Jordan, Tupac, David Bowie, people like that. Whereas I guess they probably could use the license of those people, but with a likeness, should I say. But yeah, it's more like classic Universal monsters. Without spoiling it, they're at the Wax Museum, and there'll be like what do you call it? Like a sort of rope around the display. So it'd be a display, say, showing like a Jack the Ripper kind of character or something in his little diorama, and then there's like a rope blocking you out. If you go over the rope and cross it, then you get into the actual frame, and then if you get attacked or whatever by whatever the waxwork creatures are in the diorama, then you sort of die in real life. That's all I'm going to say without spoiling it too much. Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. It's not the best made film. Bit weird tagline, stop on by and give Afterlife a try. So I don't think any of the people that die in it come back or anything. So a bit weird, but it's an 18, so yeah, it contains strong bloody violence, some sexual. Can't remember there being any sexual violence, but yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10. It's not the best film, but it's entertaining. Don't know if you can get it on Blu-ray or 4K. Not sure if I would upgrade it if you could, to be fair. And then the last watch, only watched this last night, so I think I've still left it in the PS5 player. But A Snake of June. So it's a Tartan Asia Extreme. This one, I'm pretty sure, has never had a Blu-ray or 4K release. A lot of the Tartan Asia, I think I've got 86 of them. obviously some of the famous ones like Old Boy, The Ring, Audition, and that about upgrades, but a lot of them more obscure ones are stuck on DVD probably forever. It's directed by Shinya Tsukamoto, one of my favourite Japanese directors. Does Tetsuo Iron Man 1 and 2. Tetsuo Iron Man, one of my favourite films ever. Absolutely bizarre, assault on the senses, of surreal. I kind of say imagine David Lynch's Eraserhead, but turned up to 10 on steroids, LSD, and a fever dream version. But yeah, it's kind of all filmed in like black and white. It's only 77 minutes. It's originally from 2002. If anybody knows Shinya Tsukamoto, he also does Vital, film on. Let's see if I can find it. Another one on Tartan Asia Extreme. This one is actually colour, which is quite rare for him because, yeah, there's a few others by him I don't have, but I do want to get. I think they did a box set on Arrow Video of his films, but it's only released in America on Region 1. It's over £100 second hand, I think. It's one I've never picked up. But yeah, I've got about 4 films by him. Yeah, I think after Tetsuo, it's probably my favourite. It's not going to be for everybody. It's slow, it's weird, it's surreal. I'd say it's kind of, how do I describe it? Like, it's basically about voyeurism. Yeah, some, not only creepy, but some scenes that are just, yeah, like I say, surreal. Bit where all these guys have got these weird, like, camera lens things on their face and they're looking down it, taking photos of the lady. I'll read the synopsis, but kind of, yeah, let me read it, see if it tells you enough. During an insistent June downpour in an anonymous Japanese metropolis, a dark erotic force infiltrates the lives of Rinko, a reserved career woman in her 30s, and Shigeko, her obsessively clean workaholic husband. Invading the most private aspects of the couple's young lives, a mysterious stranger sends an anonymous envelope bearing the inscription, "Your husband's secrets." Inside are photographs of Rinko masturbating. Soon mysterious phone calls follow, but the male voice does not demand money. Instead, it demands that Rinko follow strict instructions to go out in public wearing a miniskirt and purchase a vibrator. A deliriously perverse tale of buried sexual desires, Shinya Tsukamoto's surreal journey to the dark side of obsession is as stylish as it is totally unforgettable. So yeah, I mean, it's quite, I mean, the sexual stuff in it is not that strong. It's more the sort of psychosexual, I guess he kind of blackmails her to a certain extent. So yeah, he's got these photos, negatives, and he sends the photos and he says, if you want the negatives back, you have to do this and that. So yeah, he basically rings her on the phone, keeps like ringing her. Then he'll say, go out in public wearing just a mini skirt, and she does it, and then he says, oh, that's not enough to get the negatives back. Now you've got to do this. Now you've got, I won't go into too much detail of it, but I really like films, sounds weird, but with rain throughout the film. And yeah, every single scene, it's just pouring down when she's outside. She's sort of inside. You can see the rain hitting the window. Obviously, a bit fitting that I watched it in June when it's called A Snake of June. Didn't really mean to. Like I say, some surreal, not really gory or anything. Not like Tetsuo the Iron Man, especially Part 2 Body Hammer or Vital. But yeah, quite disturbing. Sort of psychosexual eroticism, but not in like a sexy, titillating kind of way. A bit like a Nora. Yeah, really stylishly shot. 77 minutes, so flies past quite nicely. Very surreal and bizarre. Won't sort of say too much. There's a bit of a twist to it, which I didn't really see coming. Kind of suspected it, but it what's the word? Not just unravels, reveals in a way you're kind of not expecting it to go. But yeah, there's a few bits where basically the guy keeps ringing her, but when she's doing these things, some bits where she's like in a public toilet and somehow he's watching her, and I was like, how can he actually see her? And that kind of does make sense later on. Oh, whoops, I'm nearly going up to 40 minutes. I thought I'd have it done by 35, but I've been speaking about this too long. Yeah, it's not going to be for everybody. It's not a horror, but if you are into sort of disturbing, weird, surreal Japanese films like I am, then yeah, I think you'd like this. Obviously, Marcus Maxwell 2708 trying to collect all the Tartan Asia Extreme, so you'll have to get this one. But yeah, I imagine it's one Marcus would enjoy. But yeah, very stylish, very bizarre. I've never seen anything like this. Very weird film. Might sort of offend or upset a few people just because of the sort of sexual nature of it. Kind of what you'd expect from Shinya Tsukamoto, really. Running out of time, so I won't speak about it too much, but the film I watched on Shudder was called Best Wishes to All, which is a Japanese film. Without spoiling it, she sort of goes, I don't know how old she is, like a teenager, really good actress. I think she's quite new on the scene. I think it was made 2 years ago, but it's only sort of come out on Shudder recently. Not had a physical release yet, but I will pick it up when it does. She goes to stay with her grandparents, and they're very bizarre. Kind of a bit like The Visit by M. Night Shyamalan, if you've seen that. I know a lot of people weren't a massive fan of that. I kind of enjoyed it more than that. It's going along that route, and you think, oh, the grandparents are going to be weird, but then it goes completely off the scale. Absolutely bizarre, surreal, disturbing, gory, kind of funny at the same time. Yeah, I won't say too much about it, because not only am I running out of time on this, but it's very spoilerish. But yeah, even though I only watched it a few days ago, I'm thinking of watching it again, just because it was that much of a mind-bender, sort of head trip. But yeah, one of the best films I've seen in a long time. And yeah, if you're into Japanese cinema, might be able to find it on other streaming. But yeah, I watched it through Shudder. I think it's only like £5 a month through Shudder, so I'm not big on streaming services. I find it one worth having because yeah, I've watched about 20 horror films on there. Not just horror, thrillers and stuff, but especially foreign cinema films. Another one I watched called Grafted on there is really good. The Sadness, absolutely insane. One of the goriest zombie kind of films I've ever watched. But yeah, if you've got Shudder and that, I would recommend it. Again, not going to be for everybody, but if you want to see a WTF absolute mind bender film that is actually entertaining, well made, and yeah, I've seen some weird stuff over the years and some quite disturbing, extreme stuff, but that is on another level in my opinion. Yeah, it's gone on quite long, so I'll end it there at just over 40 minutes. Sorry about that, but did have 10 to show, so guess I've not waffled on too long, hopefully. Thank you everybody for watching. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll probably record it Saturday or Sunday once I've got a haul when I go out film hunting with Ollie. Rather than tag each person down below, I think I've mentioned Roy, Stewart. I have to watch back the whole video again to sort of remember the names. I'll just tag the Movie Loons and the Lords of Darkness, which pretty much everybody I've mentioned is out of those groups. Yep, thank you everybody. See you again, bye.